Hello, and thank you for coming to the McWaters Effect. I'm your host, Matt, and today I'm going to be looking at an article from the Gateway Pundit where Steve Bannon had an interview with Jan Bryant, and she was at the Maricopa County selection where she witnessed some odd things, and she was also there for the audit afterwards, and that was the first audit. Now, let's go ahead and go over the article, and then we'll watch a video where Steve Bannon's actually interviewing her. They sent everybody home and rebooted the system on selection day. Arizona selection witness Jan Bryant joined Steve Bannon to talk about Maricopa County selection. Jan was a strong project manager background. She could not believe what she witnessed during the 2020 selection in Maricopa County, Arizona. Jan's testimony might explain why Maricopa County officials did not have the admin password for access to the Onion voting machines. Jan worked 6 days at MCTEC as a MBA and project management background in technology. Jan joined Steve Bannon on the War Room on Monday morning following our story over the weekend. Jan told Steve the county continues to bring a ballet to several days following the election. Jan also told Steve she was most certain on a selection day, Onion operatives told the staff they had to reboot the system and send everyone home for the day. This is highly suspect and unusual. Okay, we're going to go ahead and watch the video.
Walk us through who was, because now I think we're getting down to the rub of it. When you were an observer in Maricopa County, who was actually running the election? Was it the election officials, or was it the company that was set up that was hired as a vendor? In your words, you were there as an observer, and I know you've testified to this, but I think it refreshes because it's such a powerful story in Gateway Pundit. What exactly happened, and what did you observe?
This is my first year volunteering ever for an election, so I did not know what to expect. When I was called into the ballot tabulation center, they gave me some instructions and gave me walked me through, showed me how secure everything supposedly was in that room, and I was only allowed to talk to one or two county employees, and all of the observers for the same thing. We weren't allowed to talk to any of the other people working. Which is fine, that's the rule. But I noticed quickly that the two Dominion employees that were primarily running everything in the room as far as hardware and software were running everything, and the employees deferred to them on everything. So I was actually part of the group that pulled ballots for the regular hand audit that's done here every election. And we pulled randomly, kind of, but then Dominion ran the reports, so they knew exactly which ballots had been pulled and what was in the boxes that were going to be hand audited. And the county employees could not run those reports. They had to wait till there was a Dominion employee available. So we had two here that I worked with primarily or saw primarily. There were multiple things that concerned me every time I got something.
But hang on, I just want to. Why would that be concerning? Because the Dominion had a better feel for their system than the county employees. Or are you saying that shouldn't have been? The county employees should have been up to speed on the system that they could. Were they not supervising the Dominion technicians or the Dominion employees? It would seem like Dominion would be the people that do the technical part, and the county people would be the people who do the supervising. Was it supposed to be somehow different?
To me, the Dominion employees had total control of everything that was going on. So one of the things that made me the most nervous early was on election day, we had a full room of people, volunteers and employees there doing the tabulation and the adjudication. And at 3 o'clock, they rebooted the servers, and no one would tell us why, and sent everyone home. So on election day, you wouldn't think that would happen. And employees didn't seem to know what was happening. Dominion employees just called it and said, "Hey, go home. We're going to have to reboot." So there were just several things like that. I will tell you, the first week I volunteered there, and we didn't think it was going to be a multi-week volunteer thing, but it ended up going on and on. Ballots kept coming in, and there was a laptop that showed up the second week I was there that wasn't there the first week, and it was behind a wall where you couldn't see it from the viewing windows outside of the tabulation center, and it was run by one of the Dominion employees. I don't know how secure that laptop was. I don't know where it came from. I don't know how it got in the room, but multiple things happened like that no one could or would explain to the volunteers. So I can't tell you they didn't know.
Yeah. When you see now, the reason we want to have you on, you got this kind of firestorm, and now there may be additional subpoenas out today that they didn't have an administrative password. There's all the system with the routers, which is coming up. And my point is, hey, this should have been explained and come forward with back in November, December. In May of 2021 is not the time that people should find this out after pressing and asking tons of questions and going to court. It just doesn't look good. Was your impression that the county employees supposed to be in charge of this election, not just the supervisor, but people's day-to-day job, did you believe were they on top of things? Did they look like they were trained? Were they on top of things and actually trained to be supervisors? And actually, it's a county employees of the county of Maricopa that are in charge? Or do you think that the vendor, just because of technical expertise and others, just kind of overrode them?
So the county employees were definitely in charge of the process, but I never saw them touch anything or tightly supervise the Dominion employees. They were in the same room, and they were moving around doing their separate jobs, but definitely deferred to Dominion on anything. We couldn't seal boxes of ballots for the hand audit until Dominion employees were able to run reports that went in those boxes. So there was nothing that the county employees seemed to be able to do with the system. Yeah. So they didn't know how to run a report. That's a pretty basic thing that you run every day. Yeah. And so I didn't understand that piece of it. And I asked, and they just said the Dominion employees were hired to do that. So they did. I didn't see, no one was running around hiding things from us. We were able to go and see things. It just seemed to be very not tightly supervised and not well managed. The management of the whole process was poor. I think you probably heard me say day after day, they're like, oh, we're almost done. And then another, load of ballots would come in. And so I don't understand how that happens. How did no one know how many ballots were out there still?
Jan, we got to bounce, but in 30 seconds, were you surprised then when you read that there's this issue with the administrative code and that there's an issue with the routers? Were you surprised when this became public in the media?
Super surprised. How are routers being used by the election people in a secure location and also being used by other county enterprises? I don't understand that piece of it. That's what they're saying is we can't have those routers because law enforcement stuff is on there. Well, how did that happen? And that's not secure. So, and then the password thing, I would totally accept that happened because obviously the county employees didn't have access to the software, or the hardware.
Jan, you're a real patriot for coming forward. We know the pressure of people like you out there to come up and just try to get to the facts, and people are just trying to get to the facts here. So Jan Bryant out in Arizona, thank you so much for volunteering, and thank you so much for coming on the show.
Thank you.
Okay, guys, I want to talk about some of the things that people have pointed out to me, and that, first, I'm not one of these people that believe that this would overturn the selection, because it's not. It's already been certified. He's been in office. Joe Biden's been in office for 4.5 months. He is our president. Regardless if any of these audits that are going to happen around the United States changes anything in those states, nothing's going to change that, okay? There's nothing in the Constitution that allows that to be changed. All right, number two, the reason I think these need to happen is because to find out the truth about these machines, if they are reliable or not, and whether or not the states were actually running these elections or was these machine operators. And number three also is to find out the truth, just to find out the truth about everything. Truth is important. We, as a conservative, we allowed the Democrats to try to find out the truth about Russiagate. Okay, it went on for 2 years. Found nothing, no evidence. And we allowed it to happen. All we want is to find out the truth And it's been 4 months since it's happened. And they're giving us grief about it, calling us conspiracy theories. I'm sorry, but Russiagate's a conspiracy theory, buddy. Whether y'all like it or not, it is. There's no evidence that it ever happened. And the person who actually started was Hillary Clinton. And she also started against Bernie Sanders, Jill Stein, and Tulsi Gabbard. And that was all bullshit too. So what I'm asking liberals out there that might watch this video, or anyone that actually thinks this shit's crazy, allow people to deal with this grief their own way. Okay? Now, do I believe this could be true? I don't see why not. I've seen government do crazier shit than this. And that's just not the United States government, but that's governments all over the world. So just give people opportunity to check it out and see if any of it's true. That's all I'm asking. But I hope you liked this video. Please hit like and subscribe. Helps the channel grow. Peace.